Hi and welcome to the astrology forecast for December 2018, the last one of the year. Yay, how amazing is that? And the next one actually will be, I will be broadcasting it from Thailand. I'm due to go out to Thailand to do some work out there, and there's a really cool temple out there that I want to do some work from. So I'll do it from there. So the January forecast will be in Thailand. Do come along with me. Well, you can all get in my suitcase. We'll squash you all in and I'll show you around when we get there. Anyway, so back to the matter in hand. Okay, so December. Right, well, at the very least, December promises to have more obvious action and energy than the first 3 weeks of November, for instance. If you remember, in November, what we had to do was we had to be yin, we had to be feminine, we had to be withdrawn, we had to sit in the darkness and wait, kind of like the alchemists and the Negrado, when you put everything in the vessel and you wait for the burning. So we kind of were like that, which is a bit difficult, to do nothing and just to sort of dwell and be in the moment. I find a little difficult. So that was when the sun was in Scorpio, of course, first 3 weeks in November. Then the sun moves out of the feminine energy of Scorpio and into the masculine energy of Sagittarius. And that's actually what it does all year. It goes from feminine to masculine to feminine to masculine. So we go down and up and down and up. And that's good for us because we have a period of consolidation and reflection, followed by a period of very obvious energy, very action-packed, and then it consolidates and stabilizes again. And that's the way the cosmos has been designed. What we should have now, with the sun moving into the fire sign of Sagittarius, we should have a lot more action-packed and obvious energy. This is the backdrop that we're living in. This is the sun-earth relationship, and it envelops us in its particular element and zodiac sign and polarity, so as we go through the months. Okay, so the sun moved into Sagittarius on Thanksgiving, actually, and this symbolized, so the Thanksgiving festival is quite well placed. This symbolized a sea change from the concealing nature of the feminine to masculine energy. So you've got this really obvious action-packed masculine energy. So this is a good thing, right? Well, it should be, because masculine yang energy is all about confidence, amongst other things, and it's very good for the festive season. So it just happens to be right for all this silly season party stuff that we get into. Sagittarius energy peps up this party. Sagittarius energy urges people to be first on the dance floor and first on the karaoke microphone, singing your head off. And this is what we need to break the ice to get into this silly party season. And Sagittarius enables us to get these celebrations started. It's a good thing for that. And honestly, we should feel revived and raring to go after the very close deepness of the Scorpio energy in recent weeks. So that's all good. We're ready to go, fired up. However, there is one tiny warning that I need to get across to you, and that is this fire sign will expand anything it touches, right? So you have a situation or you have an issue going on in your life. If we breathe some hot air or some energy into that, the Sagittarius energy can literally bust it up. It blows it wide open. So it can take an undesirable situation or feeling, and the trouble is that Sagittarius is like helium to the hot air balloon. It just blows it up. It can't help but fill it, and then away it goes. Whether or not this is a welcome thing, this is what you're going to get. So we could find that this exuberant fire energy isn't quite as happy and perfect as we want it to be. And there's one more thing that can happen, and that is something called projection in psychology. It's when an exuberant energy is played out in our lives, but it's not us playing it, it's played out in front of us, somebody else plays it. So this can be played by a very irritating other person who shows you their Sagittarius while you sit there fuming. So you know the kind of thing. So maybe it's somebody at the office that you don't like because she's always in your face, and there she is on the dance floor showing off and nobody is paying any attention to you. That can really get irritating. Or maybe it's because you haven't got the courage to do all that you wish you had. So you could kind of notice that sort of thing as well. But on the other hand, it's there for anybody to play, and so action and energy are the key words, and so I would say it's great. You know, we're going to have a good time. This energy is associated with clarity, and enjoyment and fun and confidence. So, you know, let's hope you can grab a hold of that. I hope that you're not one of the unlucky ones who gets one of those tiny little possible undesirable situations. And I'm sorry that if that happens to you, you know, like, that's dead unlucky. So rush out and get yourself a lottery ticket, because, you know, you've got to get your good luck somewhere. So apart from those two tiny little possibilities, it should all be good. Now I want to look at some detail now, if that's possible. What I want to do is I want to pull out a certain time in December, and this is from the 2nd of December through to the 12th of December. Now what's actually happening at this time is the planet Mercury is going retrograde, or backwards in the sky. So it's passing from Sagittarius, where it is currently sitting with the Sun, back into Scorpio, where it stops and then goes forward again and arrives back in Sagittarius again. So it revisits Scorpio, and when it does, it gets in touch with the planet Chiron. Now Chiron represents our human frailties, our pain, our difficulties, a humiliating pain, anguish. I'm selling this really well, right? So when Mercury does this, it kind of symbolizes that despite all of this leaping up and down and happiness and office parties and joyous shopping and all the rest of it, there is a pocket or a place that we can access where we may find we are revisiting something from the past. And in actual fact, if I go back to the end of October, you may well be able to link something that happened at the end of October around Halloween with what happens between the 2nd and the 2nd and the 12th, sorry, of December. They may have a link if you think about it. But what's happening from the 2nd to the 10th, and this journey that Mercury makes into the underworld, just like the story of Inanna, really, the Babylonian myth of Inanna, it's a chance to go back and reflect on something and draw a healing or a conclusion from the experience. It's about wrapping it up. It might help if I explain that it's connected to October, because you might be able to go through your diary and think, oh gosh, yes, that happened at the end of October. So that might help. But what you're looking for is a second chance to look at something and come out with a better result. So a more meaningful outcome, something more positive, something you think, well, that's better. That, you know, it wasn't so good before. That was unfair or unjust. This is an opportunity to put that right, to get it to bed in a better place. So you could take advantage of that. But during this time, it's also possible that there may be some poignancy about it. There may be some sadness. There may be some regret. There may be some guilt. There may be something from the past that you wish hadn't happened. Or now, if that's the case, then do try to get some healing from this. And I think we could also remember that you're very close to the angels or deity during the month of December. So you can probably get a lot of support with this, and that might help considerably, particularly meditating. A lot of visions might come to you. It could seem during this period as if your frail sensitivities are being brutalized, that you're being stamped all over. You could feel particularly sensitized or sensitive. This is the Chiron influence. But at some point, you're going to have to forget your pain, and you're going to have to say, this is life, and you're just going to have to get on with it, because otherwise you could fail to make the best of the future by simply living in the past and living in regret. It's fine to visit it and say, okay, this makes me sad, this was not good, etc. But you have to learn, grow, forgive, accept, move on, you're wiser, and this has given you something to take forward. This is the kind of, the attitude to have. So I want you to bear that in mind. And then the other thing that I want you to bear in mind is the period between the 6th and the 7th of December, when we have a new moon in Sagittarius. Now, it's the 6th or the 7th, depending where you live. 6th if you're in the USA, 7th if you're living in the UK or Europe. And in any case, the day before is normally stronger, so that could be the 5th or 6th. And this is when the sun and the moon are both in Sagittarius together. And this is a time when we are in touch with an extraordinary opportunity. This opportunity is to contact higher wisdom. If ever the godness, deity, were to appear to us mortals, then as far as I'm concerned, this is what it would look like in astrology. There is such a lot of presence of deity, gods, goddesses, whatever you want to call it, the divine. There's a massive presence around this time, really access, great portal of access. So great ability to feel God or goddess or the godness, whatever. So to feel its presence. This should lift us into the air, and it should imbue us with a great deal of courage. It should encourage us. We should get confidence. We should get filled with a sense of confirmation. I'm right. I know I'm right. I feel good. So it's also an opportunity to give thanks for all that we have. Remember this, gratefulness is a big part of our exchange with deity. When we're grateful, we are helping ourselves to get more of what we like. It's a strong surge of power, and we should feel joy at the light with a capital L. There's a great deal of light around. This is tinged with compassion. It is tinged with an urge for redemption, to do something to make good for the past, something that went wrong. So we might feel we want to do charity work, we might a good turn to others. This is the right time of year to do all this, of course. We want to make up for something somewhere. It's all built into this whole period. And you might experience a mystical yearning. So like there's a dreamy, mystical quality to this time. One further thing to comment on is nice relationship energy. So if we're looking from something like the 16th, 17th of December right through into the festive period, there is a good quality around relating and relationship. Any relationships formed in this time start out with a really nice background. So it's a good time to meet somebody. Why not get online? I mean, it's ridiculous that we don't get online to meet people. It's just like the discos that we used to have in the 60s, where we used to meet people we'd never met before in our lives and didn't know. How is that any more dangerous than being online? It's the same thing for me. So I suggest it's a good time to do that. And also, if people are online and lonely at this time of the year, then they really mean it, because the ones that are married and shouldn't be online looking, they're too busy with their families. So it's a really good time. Okay, so nice relationship potential, that's good. And Christmas Day, I just want to say to you, it looks pretty good. It's a family day. It really does look like nice for families. So for once, maybe all the families should get on. Maybe you're one of the families that always gets on. I'm not from a family that always gets on. So maybe everybody should get on. So there we go. So that's December for you. I am in Thailand from the 20th of December. And so I will be broadcasting from there, as I said. I am available for readings before then, and I'm available for your New Year reading in the new year. So contact me for your January reading so that you can see what's in the year ahead of you. What an exciting year. Everything is leading up to 2020. You want to make sure it's all in place by 2020. So for goodness sake, catch up with me. We'll sit down, have a natter, and you'll go away with a great blueprint and a plan for the whole year, which you can implement, and it'll be personal to you, and you'll have enjoyed it, and I love it, and everybody always feels happy after a reading. So hey, we want that in our lives, don't we? And I'm going to say merry, merry, merry festivities, holidays, whatever you celebrate. Have a great time. Certainly for me, it's about the winter solstice, or the solstice on the 21st of December. And then there's like loads of good stuff after that, isn't there? So have a brilliant time. And I've loved talking to you all year, and I hope that I'm going to be talking to you next year as well. And peace and goodwill and happiness to all of you. And I'll give you a big hug. Hug, 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 lots of love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Lovely to talk to you. See you next year, huh? Okay then, bye.